I am finally moving the needle on some of my gallery wall that I've had up for a very long time. I collected most of these frames. Some of them I already had, but most of them I collected from thrift stores, painted some of them, and then I recently did a photo order, so I got a few prints that I had purchased from Etsy a while back. And I also got some family prints, but I didn't show that in this video. So if it seems like I only did, like, I think it was 3 or 4 on this wall, and you're like, oh wow, that's really moving the needle, I did get a few other prints for elsewhere in our house too. I'm just not showing that part. So the tricky part is figuring out what size prints to get. I have used odd prints before. I think it was oddprints.com, and you can pretty much type in any dimensions that you want. This time I just did Walmart because all of them could be done within a normal picture size. I just have to trim them up. So you can do it either way. I don't really know what's cheaper. Some of the odd prints were, I feel like, kind of expensive because they're a weird size. But also Walmart can be expensive too, because I did get some 11 by 14s and those are definitely more expensive. So this one was simple. This was just a 5 by 7, and then the other one, the green one that I'll do next, that one I got a 5 by 7 as well, but then I had to trim it. So I usually just go really slow. I'll draw a couple lines to kind of get started, and then I just trim little tiny bits off bit by bit until it fits in there. You want to go really slow so that you don't overcut it, because you can always cut more off, but you can't really put it back on. So it's a little bit of a risky project, but if you take your time, which is hard to do when you have children because you get interrupted, but really if you take your time, it ends up working out just fine. So I just taped them on there as well. You could probably glue them, hot glue, super glue, like whatever you would want to do, but for the most part, I've already taken apart a lot of these frames from the thrift store so that I can paint them. I usually take off the back. If there's any glass, I usually take it off because I don't like the glare. And so I just tape it on there. That way, if over time I wanted to switch it out, I could. It just feels a little bit less permanent that way. So I just tape it on there, and if the tape, kind of dries out or whatever over time, I'll just stick some more on there. But I like that because it doesn't feel like I'm as stuck with what I've chosen. If in 5 years I decide, I really don't like that print anymore, I can find another one and just swap it out. So this project has taken me a very, very long time, and obviously I only put 3 or 4 prints up, so I have still more to do, and I probably won't order another set of prints for a while, honestly. But that's just the nature of home decor and homemaking. I feel like you really have to live in a space for a good amount of time to kind of get a feel for how the space works, which that applies more to organization, but also for decor, because you could put something up and then live with it that way for a little while and realize that you're not loving it. And the thing is, nothing has to be permanent, but you do have to be willing to take the time for that to work out. So lots of patience is definitely required. I have had this gallery up without any pictures up there for definitely over a year. It's been a very, very long time, and I just now am starting to put a few prints up. So I see so many homemakers on YouTube, and myself included, like, there's so much that we want to do in our homes, and we want to just do it right now because, I don't know, there's a tension there of like the home is not entirely reflecting you and your family, and that can be frustrating, especially when you're spending most of your time there. You want it to be a place that feels beautiful, feels cozy, feels warm, and you're trying to create that, but it also definitely requires time. It requires a little bit of money. You can certainly do it very, very frugally, but it does require some money. It requires, effort on your part in creating the beauty, and also just living in the space to kind of get a feel for where you want things, where you don't want things, And sometimes, especially for me, I put things up and then I'm like, I don't like that. So usually what I do, like once I have something that's complete, it's probably been done at least 2 or 3 times. There's probably been different things in that spot, nothing in that spot, a different arrangement of the items. It's usually not the first time that I get it right. So like I said, it can definitely be frustrating, but I think it's just part of the process. And I think the sooner that we can accept that as homemakers, we can just start to slow down and enjoy that process. Although I do understand the frustration with the tension when things are not reflecting what your vision is, and when life just makes your vision happen a lot slower than you had hoped. So we've been in our home for multiple years now. It'll be 5 years later this year, and there's just a lot that we still haven't done, and I'm just like, oh my goodness. But I have to remember that I've had children in that time. We've had job changes, we've had just life happen to us that happens to everyone. And yeah, 5 years really isn't that much time. The more that I'm growing older, not that I'm old at all, but I'm just realizing like that's really not that much time. It's just when you're younger, it feels like a very long time, and it's really not. So I like to look back on old pictures when we first moved in, and then I realize, oh wow, you really have actually done quite a bit, especially considering all of the circumstances of life. So that's a little tip that I have, I guess. Look back at the things that you have done and remind yourself of that when you are feeling just discontent with your home and wanting to do more quicker. It's tricky, but that's a tip that I do have. So I actually got this basket. I have this spot on the wall, and my husband hung this shelf for me a while ago, probably a couple years ago, and I didn't put it in the middle of the wall, and I kind of regretted that, and then sometimes I didn't. I don't know. But I wasn't going to ask him to move it because it's anchored to the wall. So I found this basket. I still need to get some, I think I'm going to do baby's breath, and then I might do something different when it's Christmas time, but I need to get some flowers for it. But I found it on Amazon, so I will link that for you. And then I also found this antique looking hook from Hobby Lobby for my aprons, so that is something that's very exciting too. I just nailed it right into my hutch, and I've been loving that. It's a lot more stable than just the little nail that I had hanging up there before. So those are some of my home decor updates, as well as just some encouragement for where you are at in your own home.